Hi everybody, and welcome to Traveling with Russell, and welcome to a new video, and welcome to my shopping center where I live in Moscow, and the very well-known Globus Supermarket right behind me. Now I know everybody loves a supermarket video, so I thought I'd go for a walk around Globus and show you what it's like, and show you maybe some changes. Let's see how busy it is. And I need to grab a few things as well, so let's go. If you've never heard of Globus before, that's completely fine. Perhaps maybe you live in Europe and you've heard of them. Globus is actually a German-owned supermarket chain that has stores all throughout Russia, and particularly in bigger shopping centers like this one. And they've also got standalone stores, which in America they like to call big box stores. And this is a very big supermarket. It actually has 2 cafes, and it also has a coffee shop and ice cream place right here as well, which is very popular because you can get a quick ice cream on the way out. I decided to come here on a Thursday afternoon. It's a little bit later in the day now, so people have actually started finishing work. So there will actually be people in here shopping. And I think there is 60 registers, if I'm not mistaken. And depending on the time of day you come, not all of them are open. But today, probably about half of them are all open. And then there is 2 very big self-checkout areas as well, where you can basically pay for your own goods and walk on out. But it's a big place. There is actually 2 ways that most people come shopping here, and it's how you take the baskets. So there's either the metal shopping trolleys, and these are actually with a coin. And then the way you can do your shopping if you don't want to use a coin is get one of these pull carts, which is the way I like to do my shopping. We won't generally buy enough to fill up a whole basket because we do shopping 3 or 4 times a week. The other very popular thing at Globus is their cafeteria, and this is the main one with the sit-down area, and you can get yourself a nice hot home-cooked meal for a couple of dollars. There's a lot of things to choose from, and just recently they added a shawarma place, and very well. And I'm actually going to come back and have one of these at the end of the video, so if you want to see me do a tasting, I'm going to come and this gentleman's going to make me a nice shawarma. Essentially salad and some mayonnaise and a little bit of meat in a wrap. The actual restaurant itself is buffet style, and then they've got different food stations that you can go to. I like to sometimes have the pasta here, where she does the pasta in a wok, and then there's other food stations on the right hand side. Now it's a little bit later on Thursday. A lot of those are now done cooking for the evening. And then there's salads. You can also get them for takeaway. And then these are actually by the container that you get them. So it's nice and easy. And then over here is the main line of the cafeteria. So there's people that will actually serve you onto the plates. You've got lots of choices of breads and soups. And there's more salads. You can see how popular it is. Look at the lines. Everybody's finished work, and they're more than happy to come to a supermarket to have dinner. And the staff actually also come and eat here as well. So the guy there that's at the shawarma stand, actually he knows me because I've been here before. It's really nice, and I'll have a little taste testing for you at the end after we've done the walk around of the supermarket. Somebody did actually suggest that I should do that in every video. Go to a different food place at the different supermarkets or shopping centers that I go to. So we're going to walk on in Globus now, and I'm going to show you around a little bit. I will try to walk around as much of the store as I can, particularly the food section, and show you as many parts of this place because it's a very big supermarket. And as you walk in, most of the weekly specials are here, and a lot of different things. You can see pasta, there's some salamis, very famous Russian cola, and then there is actually an extension of the cafeteria here where you can actually get all the different salads and all the different dishes that they serve from the kitchen on the other side right there. And then you can actually get them and purchase them through the supermarket as a takeaway item. And a lot of these are all cold chilled salads, so you can just eat them out of the packet. And there's a few dishes where you can put them in the microwave and heat them up. The front section when you walk in has a seasonal display. It's always hard sometimes to figure out what the seasonal item is, but I think it might be Easter now that they've got on display here. And they grab a whole lot of things that are related to the same topic and put them in one place at the front of the store. Now, Easter eggs aren't a very big thing in Russia, but the art of making colored eggs is. You can find all of the different things to do colored eggs. And then perhaps flowers are popular. Actually, you can see them right here. These are the packets where you can actually dye the eggs different colors, and it's a very popular thing to do. Maybe pancakes or cake mixes as well. So they do a really good job of putting together all different ingredients that make up some of the seasonal food items. And then we slowly head on into the incredibly big fruit and vegetable section, which wraps around this whole corner of the store. And it's very, very big. And essentially you can get any fruit and vegetable item no matter the season. And of course, the big difference though is seasonally, you're going to get lower prices depending on what time of year it is, or even where they get the items from. You can see right at the front, pineapples in Russia. How strange might that seem to some people, but to others they're not. I love pineapple, but I just don't like the effort you got to put into cutting it. It's just too difficult. This is the other extension of the cafeteria where they've got all of the ready meals. So you can buy these by weight, and then they actually have scales and the ladies look after you. And they've got some very nice food. I've actually had the lasagna many times before here. And then looks like they've got some soups, and there's some different rice dishes. And then over here is chicken. And there's a couple of ladies right there where the chicken is, but that roast chicken is very delicious. We've had that a few times as well. And then if you really want to cook your own chicken, it's the next section over, and they've got a whole corner of it right here. And then we'll walk on through the fruit and vegetable section. So the thing with the pricing, there's going to be fluctuations in prices of fruit and vegetables in Russia, because not everything is domestically grown. And then of course seasonally, where they do grow things here, they grow obviously better in summertime versus in wintertime. A lot of the vegetables that are grown in Russia are grown in greenhouses in different regions of Russia. So the prices will be very low when it's in high season. Then naturally in the off season the prices go up because they might bring them in from other countries. They're not going to sell the domestic ones when they're so incredibly high. It's just easy to import them and have them available. There's lots of different meats here that are marinated. Now we're coming into towards summertime. It's a good time to have barbecue, so you can basically buy them pre-marinated like this. We even got ribs and different meats. And this is their meat section. Now I would call this the deli section, but people will definitely argue with me that it's got a couple of different names. They've got some salamis right here, and Globus sausages are very, very popular. And have a look at the size of the big ones. It's like, it's huge. I'm not sure. Do people actually buy them that big and then slice it up? Let me know in the comments. And there's the butchers in the back. Now, a lot of people will use local butchers where they live, and maybe not necessarily buy meats here in a supermarket, although there's quite a few people waiting to be helped. A lot of the butchers do a good job here. They'll actually cut things for you and prepare it for you, not necessarily just put it in a bag and hand it to you. So there's a lot of care taken so that you can get the nicest cut of meat. Lots of salamis and sausages. I think because it's a German-owned supermarket, they tend to have a little bit more, let's say, German products. And sausages, I think, are a very popular item in Germany. It's a little bit more of the meats. And then we come to the backside of the fruit and veg section. And there's a lot of choices of apples. I'm just looking. There's probably 20 types of apples. And then the very classic potatoes, cabbage, carrots. It's all of the normal things. And over here, the greens. Plenty of types of mushrooms. And then if you're really into salads, you can buy them pre-bagged and salad on the table in minutes. Don't have to do too much work when they're already prepared for you like this. And that rounds out the whole fruit and vegetable section. You can see there's definitely a lot of people in here. It's just about the end of the working day in Russia, so naturally more people come here on the way home. A lot of people will come here also by metro or by bus, and they'll make a stop at the supermarket, then head on home a little bit further. Of course, potatoes, very common and very popular in Russia. But you can still get any type of vegetable, no matter the season. It's not really a problem. It's just a matter of finding it and then being happy with the price if you're buying it out of season though. They do actually have a very big nut section here and dried fruits and essentially any type of nut you can buy in a bag in some kind. And then it then goes around to the health food section. And I've actually been asked this a few times about health food in Russia, and there definitely is things if you're trying to be healthy. It's probably very hard generally though, because there's so much temptation of other food in this supermarket, and this is just one place. And there's lots of choices of dried fruits. And then I think what they've done with the health food section is they've grabbed items from other areas of the store and put them together so that you've got it all in one location, so you can get any type of ingredient and any type of food that's covered under the health food section. Is that the right word to call it? I am trying to walk around the shop in a pretty logical circle from one area to the other. I actually come across the aisle with all the milks here, and pretty sure this gentleman's a little bit confused because he's probably been told to bring milk home, and there's 27 types of milk in the fridge, and perhaps he doesn't want to buy the wrong one, which I totally understand. More healthy food on this side. Now I'm a bit of a stickler for coming into the store and then smiling when I come through the health food section, because I don't see a lot of logic to it. I'm sure people watching do. There is actually some frozen seafood here, and this is actually all by weight, and there's scoops that you can scoop it into, and literally it's all help yourself. It's pretty straightforward. And then frozen fish all the way down both sides of that fridge, and it's all by weight. And then over here is some packaged seafood. So this is actually frozen fish. It will be a little bit cheaper because it's frozen and it's transported here a little bit more cost effectively. There's some more frozen whole fish. And then for everybody who likes beer snacks, they've got different types of dried fish as well. Lots of choices of them. They're very popular with beer and having a barbecue, and you have them on the table. There's also some smoked fish as well. Now let me try to walk around the other side of the seafood section. Lots of salmons, and then there's other types of seafood, mostly marinated ones that have got vinegars. I'm not a huge fan of them in Russia, but they're definitely popular. And then we come to the caviar section, and they've actually got quite a varying price of caviars, and from basic cheaper ones right up to the end. One over here, you're looking at around about $75 for a can of caviar, $60. Now, that's actually quite reasonable. This is a supermarket, remember. You can go to some of the places in the center of Moscow and pay really any price you like. As I swing around in a circle here, I did want to show the aquarium and the fish swimming away that are awaiting their fate. Now, this is a secret in Russia, so don't tell anybody. If you want to go to an aquarium and don't want to pay for a ticket, you come to the supermarket. Bring the kids here, leave them looking at the fish, and you've got them a ticket to an aquarium. And there's more in the back there as well. And this is all by weight, so you can actually choose a fish, and then the actual fishmongers will actually take them in the back and fillet them for you. Have a look at that beautiful salmon right there. Very nice. Lots of choices. And the thing with these supermarkets, and almost all supermarkets in Russia, is everything's by weight. So you're not necessarily having to buy a whole fish. You can just buy a part of a fish. You don't have to buy whole containers of something. You can just buy smaller amounts. Lots more fish here that's marinated. Different seaweed salads. So you can get fish in any condition you like, if that makes sense. You can see how big this supermarket goes. It does thin out with people a little bit more as you get away from that first fruit and veg section, but there's still plenty of people looking around and doing some shopping. Again, you can see these smaller baskets, which are very popular, and a lot of people maybe not necessarily driving in and out of here. They're going to catch public transport, so you don't get yourself a big basket if you can't carry it. The sushi guys are done for the day, and they do fresh sushi right here in the kitchen. Of course, with it being a bit later, they'll have knocked off maybe an hour or two ago now. And then we come to the very long ham and salami section. It's probably a little bit hard to get a grasp of how big this deli section is, and the refrigerated area, it goes on for about 4 aisles, and it's all broken down into different categories and different types of food. And then the fridges go from these open style fridges to the glass door ones off in the distance. And I will try to get around to a few different ones. Someone did mention to me in a comment about all the different Heinz tomato sauces in Russia and how there's so many here that in other countries there isn't. I'm not too sure of the exact answer, but there's definitely a lot of types of Heinz. Have a look at all these deli meats. There is so many to choose from, and everybody deciding on something that might be their favorite, and maybe something a little bit different than what they had last week. They go all the way down. So if you really can't decide between all of the pay by weight deli meats, they've got all the ones here in packages. So these are all the fixed price types of hams and meats and salamis. So you can actually either get it by weight and choose your favorite one, or you can maybe look for something on special and something just because it's a lower price because of the promotions. And we end up over towards the cheese section, and they really do a nice job with their displays of their different meats and cheeses. And there are so many choices. Now, I'm saying this in a happy way because I'm used to coming to this place. I've been here thousands of times. I literally would come here at least twice or 3 times a week, particularly on the way through the metro station underneath this shopping center on the way home. Pop in, grab a few things, and then get the bus home. So there's definitely, you know, a sense of pride when I come in this store because this is my local shopping center and my local supermarket that I come to. And the reason I always call them typical is because they're so well recognized in Russia, and a lot of people use this as their typical supermarket. And although they may have 5 or 7 others where they live, this is the one that they prefer to come to and prefer to shop at because you've just got so many choices. And here's my other secret of bringing the kids to the supermarket. You can actually teach them geography at the same time. And the idea is you bring the kids over to the counter here and you get them to say the different countries on the flags. So we can see Switzerland, we can see Russia, and then can we see something else? I think maybe that's Argentina. Now, there is quite a lot of Russian cheeses. I can see Belarus right here. Even I'm testing my skills of geography of all the different regions that these cheeses come from. The only challenge with coming to this store is how long it takes you to get from one end to the other. And if you don't come with a plan or know what you really want, you could be in here for minimum of an hour, maybe longer. All the different types of brie cheeses and some of the sliced cheeses if you want to do burgers. And then we head over to the bakery. Now they do predominantly all of their bread in-house. They've got this huge bakery in the back behind these glass windows, and then you can perhaps see a little bit of it through the shelving right here, and all of these baskets with all the different types of breads on. They've actually got the bread tandoor here, I think it's called. Now don't say bad things in the comments if I get the words wrong. So there is actually some bread that they bring in from outside manufacturers, but everything you're seeing on this wall right here is all produced locally. And this lady is just putting some away and refilling them. And you have a lot of choices, and very reasonable too. You'd be struggling to spend more than 70 cents or $1 on a loaf of bread. And because it's all produced in the store, that's the whole premise to this. You know, the very classic basic loaf of bread for 17 rubles. So not even 20 cents for a very basic loaf of bread. They've also got the Deli here, or the patisserie, where they make all the cakes. And they've got plenty of them on the racks at the back there. It's a bit hard to see, but they've got all of the cakes cooling at the back, and then all of the ovens, and then all the packaging machines that wrap around as well. I really hope you're enjoying this walk around of Globus, my local typical supermarket here in Moscow. I hope you're finding it interesting. People love supermarket videos, I can tell from the amount of comments and thumbs ups. So thank you if you're enjoying it. Let me know in the comments. I just noticed they've got some new tables and chairs right here, so you can actually sit down and have a snack and have a cake. You can pay for it right there at the counter. They've even got a coffee and a cake option for 60 cents. That's a nice way to spend a good 15 minutes just taking the weight off on the chairs right there. And there is actually some packaged bread just in front of me. So these will all be brought in to the supermarket and be produced somewhere in Moscow region. They won't be made too far from where this store actually is. They don't want to transport things across Russia because it's just such a big country. And here we come down to the cake section, and I need to make some friends very fast, get an invite to somebody's house to have a cake. Have a look at all these beautiful cakes. Hopefully someone's going to invite me around and we can have some cake at their place. Maybe not. I always wish when I walk through the cake section that I'd get an invite. If you saw me in the store, would you invite me around? I wonder. And then we eventually make our way to the beer section and all the choices of beers. And they've actually got a very big alcohol section in this store, and all the beers on these few aisles right here. And the one thing that might be different from other places in the world is most of the beer here is sold individually. So it's by the can versus in a 6-pack or in a case or a box. You actually see quite a lot of German beers, right in front of me. Someone mentioned in a previous video where all the German beers. And a way to tell if they're not domestic is these white stickers on the cans or bottles. You'll see one right here. So the actual bottles imported to Russia, and then they put a domestic label on them with the ingredients in local languages. There really is a lot of choices of beer. Be interesting to know what amount of different beers they have. I would say it's probably 200 or more types between all the shelves. Also got some promotional ones and all the ones on special for this week. So they do actually have the packaging in cases, but everybody buys them individually. And there's no price for a case versus the single item price. All of the energy drinks, they've even got them backlit. I'm not too sure why they do that. Maybe that's the different companies that choose to do that on the shelving. And this might be something unique, and I did point this out a long time ago in a video, that they actually have tap beer in the store, and they actually have a guy that will actually tap the bottles of beer, and then they'll have them on this shelf, and you can actually buy them as a bottle of beer straight from the tap. So this is essentially draft beer, and the labeling is all very simple. It's just plain, almost like cola bottles, and they just put a barcode on it, and that's pretty much it. But you get draft beer in the supermarket. If you're wondering if we can get Coca-Cola in Russia, we definitely can. And it actually comes from quite a few different countries. And on the tags in this store, they actually have the country of origin. So the Coca-Cola there is from Poland. They've also got one from Georgia up the top there. There's actually some juice drinks from Vietnam. And then there's actually even American Dr. Pepper right here, USA, right on the tag. And there's also another one next to it. And then I was actually having a look at the Fanta up here, and this Fanta is from Denmark. I didn't even know they were well known for making soft drinks. It's really interesting, all of the international countries that you can get sodas from in this supermarket. And then on the other side of all of the soft drinks is the very big wine and alcohol section. And they've got quite a few aisles of never-ending types of wine. Now, they really want you to buy the ones on promotion at this end, but they've got whole aisles of them. Now, on the top of the displays, they've actually got the country of origin also. So if you want to just shop by products from a certain country, it's nice and easy. You'll see on this side all the ones from Spain as an example. And then over on this side, I think we've got Italy. I'm not sure all the flags. I think that's Greece and maybe Serbia as well. The one thing that really does differ in this store and in Russia generally, if I compare it to Australia where I'm from, is we can't buy alcohol and spirits in a supermarket. We have to buy it from a separate store that would be perhaps attached to the supermarket, but it's a separate standalone business, and we can't just walk in and grab a bottle of whiskey and then grab some cheese and then head out to the register and go home. All of the American famous brands, Jack Daniels, Jim Beam, I think everybody knows the brands very well. Someone did mention about Cuban rums, and they have a few different choices of rums from Cuba. Actually, they've also got there from Barbados. There's some, I think, from Dominican Republic. I'm looking very quickly at the brands. Actually, you can see Dominican Republic rums, because they're typically spelt with a B. So you'll see here Bermudez, and then Barcelo. All the B spelt rums are from Dominican Republic. There's also Bacardi down there as well. But that's actually from Puerto Rico originally. And all the liqueurs. And can I buy Bailey's in Russia? Yes, I can. So, Diageo, let me know in the comments what's going on. How is every brand that wasn't meant to be in Russia definitely still here? My shout out to Italy. We can see Aperol right on the shelf there as well. So that was really random. A channel subscriber just said hello and thanked me for one of the videos. It's really interesting, especially when I meet them in my local supermarket, and how they maybe came across my videos originally. So yeah, thanks if you're watching. Thanks for stopping and saying hello and having a little bit of a chat. Maybe from this end of the store, you can see just how big the place is and how far we've walked from that far end where all of the fruits and vegetables were. And then I'm going to go down this aisle on the opposite side and show you all of the normal grocery parts of the shop. It's all of the toilet roll, whole aisle of it, and too many choices. Now we don't normally buy it here because I'd have to carry it home on the bus, and I can just get it at my local shop. And all of the cleaning products. And again, there is a lot of choices. And a lot of people like coming to Globus because of the selection, and because you know you can walk in here and find any brand that your heart desires, and you're not struggling in a smaller shop where they might not have many choices. So there is a lot of different things in one store. I've got a bedding section. This looks like it's new. I don't remember this being here in the past. I got all the different types of sheets and pillows, and on this side is all of the personal items, so a lot of clothing as well off in the distance over there. And I haven't seen this before, so this is all interesting. In this shopping center there is actually 3 or 4 bed shops where you can actually buy beds from, and all of the different things. There's a toy section. There's a whole aisle of stationery, and then lots of toys for kids. This is not very common that people would buy toys in a supermarket because you've got lots of separate toy stores in the shopping center, but you can get them if you need them. Then we come around to the personal care section and all the aisles of things like shampoos, deodorants, toothpaste, and there's a lot to choose from. Also, one thing that I've not mentioned in quite a few videos is they don't have the pharmacy items in supermarkets in Russia. They have separate pharmacies. So actually even in this shopping center there's 2 or 3 pharmacies in here. So you can't actually come into a supermarket like this and buy things like headache tablets or some kind of a cream or something that you need that's from a pharmacy. And that's one thing that is different here in Russia. You have to go to a standalone pharmacy, and it's actually even easier for me when I go into one because you can let them know what you need or what ailments you have, and they'll actually sell you the right thing right off the bat, versus coming into a store like this and having to buy it off the shelf. So they don't have the pharmacy items in supermarkets in Russia whatsoever. Can somebody please in the comments let me know what's the Parmalat company doing? Are they leaving Russia or are they staying? They definitely have a lot of milk on the shelves right here. These are all of the long life milks in this middle section. And then we come around to the cereals and different types of oats and porridge, which is very much a normal breakfast in Russia. And then we get to this very long fridge with mayonnaise. And someone in Russia needs to answer this question about why we have so many different varieties of mayonnaise and so many flavors of mayonnaise. I can't perhaps answer it myself. The fact that there's about 100 different choices as you walk down the aisle. And then we come to the eggs. So there is actually eggs that are refrigerated on this side, and then on this side they have them actually just on the open shelves. Now normally the ones on this right hand side are all the ones in larger packaging, so you can get a box of 20 or 30 depending on how many you like, and they're either refrigerated or not. So I think it seems to be a bit of a split decision about this. Everybody tends to mention this a lot in the comments, so maybe let me know, do you prefer refrigerated eggs or not? Fairly classic house brand of eggs there for just over $1 for a carton. So where the prices were higher back in winter time, they've definitely normalized now and become more reasonable and back to normal. Maybe a few rubles higher than what they were a couple of years ago, but they're still within a more reasonable price than what they were last year. Again, more mayonnaise, and a lot of choices of mayonnaise. And then we're here at the yogurt section. I like in this shop now they've actually got the closed glass doors on a lot of the choices on these middle fridges. You've definitely got plenty of yogurts to choose from. I almost think for me there's too many choices. You need to let me know in the comments, would you much prefer to go shopping in a smaller supermarket, or are these big ones what you enjoy and you like wandering up and down the aisles making all the choices of food that you want? I think I'm just about down to the last couple of aisles, and then we're going to go and have a shawarma, and I'm going to let you know what I think of them. Here is sugar, and there's definitely nobody fighting for a bag of sugar in Russia. There's pallets of it right in front of us, and then flour, and the rest of this side is all of the different baking ingredients. And if you might want to make a cake rather than buying one in that bakery section earlier, and then if you're wanting to do some cooking, we've got all of the sachet ingredients right here. I just grabbed myself a drink from Globus, and I've come over to the shawarma place, and depending on where you live in the world they might call this by different names. Basically meat on a stick right there, and then they put the different vegetables and ingredients onto the pita bread. Now some people might call this a doner kebab depending on where you live. This gentleman looks like he definitely knows what he's doing. I've actually eaten here before. He recognizes me from coming here, so hey, it's going to be a very nice shawarma. Now he wraps it very carefully. Now he's done this a lot. Maybe I'm making him nervous now. And then we get it put on the grill, and a few minutes from now it'll be ready. And I'm going to give you a bit of a food review of the shawarma here in Globus. I decided to come upstairs and finish my shawarma and give you a little bit of an explanation about it. And I never realized how much seating's up here. And there's about 400 or 500 seats upstairs on this upstairs level. And I never realized of all the years I've been coming to this place. And there's actually even a very cool view of the whole supermarket from up here. Check this out. I've never seen this before. Every time I make a video, I'm learning and seeing and finding out something new. Now, of course, we're above the lights here, but just how big this place is. Till you're up here, you just don't realize it. So I want to thank all of the people who post comments on videos and give me suggestions. And someone did say that I should do more food tasting and add it to video. So depending on how long this is, you either clicked away and you're not watching it, or you're watching to the end for my shawarma review. Now I did actually get myself the Dobra orange. I actually bought that in the supermarket. And this basically is Fanta. It's made in the same factory that used to produce Coca-Cola products before, and I don't think there is any change in what this was previously to what it is now, except the wrapper on it. Now, the shawarma, now very typically in Russia, you'd get it at a takeaway place and they're normally open 24 hours. And for me, where I live in Moscow region, I've actually got two shawarma places. And I've got one that's really close to my house that's just newly opened. And I've actually had one there and it's good. And then the one that I prefer more is actually by the train station. Now in Russia, I don't think there's a train station anywhere in the whole country that doesn't have a shawarma takeaway kiosk. Very similar to what we saw in the supermarket here, but the takeaway version. And so basically they've put on the pita bread different salad items or ingredients, and then the meat tends to be a mixed meat. Now there's a lot of people who maybe question which meat they're using. Now in all the years I've had shawarma in Russia, I've never had a single problem with any that I've ever had, so I know that won't change today. I've actually had these here at Globus a few times. That's actually a new addition to the canteen downstairs, and they're actually cheaper here than they would be at the train stations. Now, depending on where you live in Russia, of course, they might vary, but this is a very big doner kebab, if that's what you want to call it in other countries, but a shawarma in Russia. Now, there is an element of healthiness to this, because you're eating salad and meat, a little bit of mayonnaise, and a little bit of a secret sauce that they use. And it's actually reasonably healthy. I'm sure somebody will tell me otherwise in the comments that it's not. You need to have a couple of bites to get down to the meat, because normally at the end it's been folded in. But this is very good. It's actually a lot bigger than the ones you get at the train stations as well. They tend to be a little bit smaller when you get them there. I think for me personally, coming to the Globus restaurant, they tend to be a little bit more generous with their servings. And also they're highlighting the products that they sell in the supermarket. So most things that they're using as ingredients are all from the store as well. That goes too for all of the normal food that we saw on the canteen line earlier. Very, very good. And the other difference with coming here is they're much fresher. Well, I think they are. I think the turnover of them here is a lot more than maybe at a train station. And you know that the tomato and the lettuce are something that they've got from their own vegetable section in the store, and they're serving it right here in the shawarma. So yeah, very, very nice. And if you get a chance and you come to Russia, I think you've got to have a shawarma at least once. Even if you're staying in some fancy hotel, go for a walk around somewhere and find yourself a takeaway shawarma and have a little bit of Russian street food. So as I make my way out of the shopping center and out of Globus, and after having a shawarma, I'm absolutely stuffed. That really is a nice snack or early evening pre-dinner meal. I'm not sure how best to describe it. It really was very nice. Now, I don't have them too often, but the point being is having it from Globus, I think, is a better option than sometimes buying them on the street, even though it's considered street food. But yeah, it was really nice. I've just got to get outside and catch my bus home. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments what you think of Globus Supermarket. Now, it is German owned, it's not Russian. And does that affect the look and selection of the shop? And there's a lot of very nice Russian supermarkets as well here. Now, post a comment, let me know about some of the things that I pointed out to you and your opinion, or whether or not there's more in the supermarkets in Russia, or there's more where you live. Maybe I'm missing out on something. And if you perhaps want to join me on Telegram, you can click the link right here. There'll be a link to Telegram right up on the corner. And if you want to see an old video on the channel, click that link right there, and there'll be an old video for you to watch right now after this one, as I just walk out the exit in a minute or two. Thanks for watching. I'm off another adventure. Bye.